Hello, welcome back to the Three Thumbs Up podcast. I am your host, Owen Beatty, and I have three thumbs. Get over it. So, today I am here, and there's not a lot to talk about. Some things last night happened, but you know, oh my God, no, everybody says blockbuster trades don't happen anymore, and that happened last night. Before the Montreal Canadiens game against the Chicago Blackhawks, some teams did a thing. Now, sorry. I'm apologizing really early in this podcast. So, about a week ago, rumors came out that Nashville, the Senators, and Colorado were interested in a three-way deal, and everybody knew it was a Duchesne Turris sort of deal. Now, earlier in the season, I know it's not a lot into the season already, but earlier in the season, Kyle Turris was being shopped around by Ottawa. He's on his final year of his deal, and I remember watching a Sportsnet panel how they were talking about Ottawa was interested in shopping him, and that would make sense if they got a better center in return because Turris is their best center. They got rid of Zibanejad, but they do have Brassard. But Turris is their number one at the moment. Number one, meh. I mean, he does what he needs to do, but is he a really number one center on a good team? Now, this trade, huge trade. I said in my last podcast, I believe, that big trades usually don't happen early into the season, and we're not even 20 games into the season, and this was a blockbuster deal. I'm gonna run through it, and here we go. There was a lot of moving pieces. 800 players for a few picks. Plenty of players going around. So, to the Ottawa Senators, Matt Duchene. Yes, the Matt Duchene era has ended in Colorado. The Mile High State has no more Duchene in it. Duchene is leaving to his home province of Ontario, and he's finally realizing his dream playing with Ottawa, and all the old fans in the stands are Toronto Maple Leaf fans. And they'll be playing their first game in Stockholm, Sweden against the Colorado Avalanche. Isn't that weird? That's a reunion. I believe it's a Colorado Avalanche and it's in Stockholm. I know it's in Sweden. So, well, makes sense. So, Matt Duchene. Oh, Matt Duchene. So, into the game, they were playing the New York Islanders, and Como got hurt, and he was being taken out, and he went in the locker room, and sneaking in behind him was forward Matt Duchene. And everybody knew he had been traded, but Twitter was taking forever to give the details on the trade. And he packed up his things, and they showed a video later into the night about him leaving Colorado, getting his casual clothes on, and he has his bags and shipped off to Ottawa. Other moving pieces to the Nashville Predators, Kyle Turris. Now, I think Nashville made out like gangbusters here. They've had a problem at center, losing a few pieces in the past few years. Ryan Johansson is not a number one. I don't think Kyle Turris is a number one either, but having that 1-2 punch is incredible for a team not known for scoring, more for their offensive defensive prowess. With Ryan Ellis, PK Subban, Roman Josi, Alexei Hamlin, Yeah, but now you have Ryan Johansson and then you have Kyle Turris. Kyle Turris is going to fit really nicely into that Nashville Predator system. I'm gonna look at their numbers here. So Kyle Turris has 320 points in 544 NHL games. So he's over half a point a game player. So this season he has 9 points in 11 games, 3 goals and 6 assists. Almost a point a game player. That's really good. Plus minus. What's his plus minus? -3. Now, what are you going to do about it? Plus minus is one of the weirdest stats in the NHL. They don't even count power plays. Did you know that? In plus minus, they don't count power plays. Really, really weird stat. But if you like that player and they have a really good plus minus, that just adds to it. Last season, he had 55 points in 78 games. That's not bad. That was one of his best seasons. And the year before that, 2015-2016, in 57 games, he was injured. He had 30 points, 17 goals, and 17 assists. And one full season, the year before that, he had 24 goals, 40 assists, and 64 points. Now, he's usually around the 50-point player, and that's what it looks like he's going to be this year. And now playing in a different system, like Nashville, he's going to be playing more to his, how would I say this, more to his ability. I would say I don't watch Nashville a lot, but I know they can be shut down team with Pecorine in the goal. And you have players like Philip Forsberg. He is really sad I didn't pick him up in my pool. He's a tremendous player. And then you have, I'm trying to think of Nashville forwards. Is this sad? Ugh. Ah, Arvidsson. He's a really good player. Breakout star last year in the NHL. Really put his foot down and showed why he's important to the Nashville Predators. Wow, I was looking at one of the seasons for Kyle Turris. He in Burnaby, the Burnaby Express, BCHL, he had 121 points in 53 games. That's pretty good, but it was junior, so he was drafted by Phoenix. No money into the Phoenix jar because literally he was drafted by Phoenix, the Phoenix Coyotes, when they were Phoenix. And then he was traded to Ottawa. So, yeah, getting on topic, Kyle Turris is really going to fit into the Nashville Predators, either playing the first or second center. He's played most first center on the Ottawa Senators this season. But coming to Ottawa is Matt Duchene. Matt Duchene is an incredible NHL forward. He's proven that he has elite potential. He is 26 years old, and Kyle Turris is 28, so the age difference isn't that different. Matt Duchene has more points in more games, but 42 more games. He has 428 points, 178 goals, 250 assists, 586 games. He'll make the 600 game mark this season, and you can only imagine how many more points he's now going to get in Ottawa. This is really good for him. He's really wanted out of Colorado for some time. Even this season, preseason, they took a photo of him and he looked so depressed. You saw it. We all saw how depressed he looked with the stick over his shoulders, green screen behind him. He looked like a sad child who didn't get the toy he wanted. He's like, I really want to go home now. This is really sad. I don't want to live for anything. I want to go home. And now he is home. He's playing in his home territory. He is from Haliburton, Ontario, and now he's going to be playing for the Ottawa Senators. So, what did Colorado get in this three-way trade? Now, I'm going to read off the pieces Colorado got. To Colorado, Ottawa's first-round pick, Ottawa's third-round pick, center Shane Bowers, prospect for the Ottawa Senators. Goalie Andrew Hammond, the Hamburglar, is a Colorado Avalanche. He will probably, he'll be the starter in their AHL team because you have Bernier and Varlamov. And Colorado, how's Colorado's season looking so far? Colorado's season, they are 8-6. The opposites of the Montreal Canadiens. I will get into Montreal. I want to talk about the big thing. Everybody wants to talk about the big thing. Andrew Hammond, he had that stellar performance late into the season, 2015, 2016? Or 2014, 2015? Can't really remember. It's one of those seasons. He led them to the playoffs, was signed to a contract that season, and really didn't pick up where he had left off, losing to Montreal in the first round. And that's a good... If there's injuries, he's a good spot goalie, if you really need one. Because last year, Colorado lost Varlamov, and they had Calvin Pickard, and they really didn't have a starter. Andrew Hammond can fill in for them if needed. From the Nashville Predators, Nashville sends their second-round pick. Is that a second-round pick from 29? I think it's a second-round pick from 2019, but don't count my word for it. Defenseman Samuel Girard. Left wing Vladislav Kamniev from Nashville. Surprisingly, Ottawa did not give up any of their prize prospects like Thomas Chabot and Colin White. I'm not really surprised they didn't have to give up any of those. Joe Sakic really squeezed the prospects and the picks out of both those teams. It works out in their favor. And here's why. Colorado shouldn't be good this year. That's not smart for their franchise. It might be good for their fans this year. Remember a couple years ago when their Corsi was through the roof? They shouldn't have been a top 5 NHL team, and they made it to the playoffs, and they lost. If they were good this year and they made it to the playoffs, I'm not saying they're on pace to, but a Duchesne wouldn't help their causes to win the first overall pick this year, which prize prospect or rookie Rasmus Dahlin, fallen for Dahlin. That's the tagline this year, and that's what Colorado needs to do to rebuild their franchise. Who's their left-wing defenseman? I know they got Cale Makar last year. 4th overall, they dropped from 1st to 4th. Crazy. Vancouver picked 5th. They got Elias Peterson. Elias? Whatever. Some Vancouver Canucks fan tell me, is it Elias? Peterson. Whatever. I don't know why I'm talking about it. So, this helps Colorado. In the long run, really, I mean, wow, think about it. Think about it this way. How many more games does a Matt Duchene win for you? Uh, First line center on that team. And then you have Nathan McKinnon, Landeskog. What does Matt Duchene add? How many more wins? I don't know how many more wins, but think about it like this. You're tanking. You're down there with Buffalo. Hope Buffalo plays better this season. Edmonton, I'm going to talk about Edmonton later into the show because I have some things to talk about. Arizona, you're trying to out tank the Arizona Coyotes, who now have 2 wins since the last time I recorded. They beat the Philadelphia Flyers, and I really don't know who they beat. I really thought they were going to go winless until they faced the Montreal Canadiens, and then Montreal Canadiens lost to the Arizona Coyotes. But we haven't faced them yet, so you never really know. Now, you're trying to out-tank them. You lose, 10 more games without a Matt Duchene? I know that's really high, but just chill. Now, you're at the bottom of the standings, and that's 20 points. 20 whole points. And before trading Matt Duchene, you're like up in the 10th bottom place team. 20 points can do a lot for a team tanking wise, and they tanked last year and they still didn't get the first overall pick. So getting themselves into the bottom 3 really secure a really big pick, because I wouldn't say there's the superstar quality players in the draft this year, but it's a deeper draft. Like last year, they didn't have the McDavids or the Matthews. They had the Patricks and the Hishays. This year, they have the Svechnikov, and they have the Dollins, and the Velenos. Now, there could be prospects that pop up here and there, but it's a deeper draft. And Colorado really needs that big piece. Nathan McKinnon was supposed to turn this franchise around, but that really didn't happen, and so the franchise goes. He was supposed to come in there and save the Colorado Avalanche, but they need to save themselves from themselves. Was that English? I'm sorry, it doesn't really make any sense. So, who came out on top in this trade? Now, here I go. Who do I think gave way too much for who? It's not the Nashville Predators. The Ottawa Senators. Now, is it worth it to give a first, a third, Shane Bowers, and an Andrew Hammond, let me just go to their profiles, a few point upgrade? How many more games does Matt Duchene win for you on an Ottawa Senators team? How many more games does a Kyle Turris win you? I can't really determine that. I mean, I'm sure a hockey analyst could, but I really didn't have the time for that. I just really wanted to record. My light's really going off right now. Like, the light bulb or something is really distracting me. I wish you were, I'm not really recording it with a video camera, but it's really flashing, and it's been doing it for an hour now. I'm going to have a seizure or something. It's not fun. I'm getting off topic. So, Matt Duchene has 10 points this year. Kyle Turris has 9. Both in 14 games, I think. Oh, Turris only has 11 games played. So, Why does it say Matt Duchene's still a Colorado Avalanche? I don't know. TSN, get your stuff together. Get your stuff straight, I should say. Now, where was I? Why do I think Ottawa gave up way too much? Sakic, I don't know how. He's a really stubborn GM, and finally, I thought I would never hear the words, Colorado has traded Matt Duchene. And I'm not surprised it was to Ottawa. And I'm not surprised it was a three-way deal. They're not very common, but it happened. Matt Duchene, great player. Kyle Turris, great player. But I don't think it's worth a first-round pick, a third-round pick, Shane Bowers. 2 picks and a prospect for Matt Duchene. I don't think it is. Now, if you're... See, that's different. Ottawa to Montreal. Montreal might be, let's see, a tanking team this year. I don't want to say that because we're currently 6-8-1, so that can turn around fast. Now, what I said something on Twitter. Twitter beef is real. I had said, my Twitter's not really working right now. Thanks, Twitter. Thanks, Twitter. Oh my god. Twitter, can you just be happy for once, Twitter? I said that to Blaine Potvin that... I'm sorry. Oh my god. My computer's being a turd right now. I don't even think my internet's working. Oh, fun. So, I had said something on Twitter about how Bergevin is a stupid GM and an awful GM and how he would have never made those kinds of trades to push for the playoffs last year. Doesn't make as much sense this year. Now, people were saying that, oh, Bergevin would never give up a first, third Shane Bowers prospect, another pick, prospect. That's a 3-way trade. That's no. That's dumb. That's a 3-way trade. Remember that. See? 3-way trade. It would make sense if Bergevin gave up a pick, prospect, and another prospect. That would equal out the value to what Ottawa gave, and that would make more sense last year. But Matt Duchene is not going to fix their problems in the slightest. He's just not. He's not going to fix their scoring problems. He isn't going to be the face of the franchise. No hype can save him. No hype can save anybody on this team. No hype. Nada. Zero. Zilch. Just doesn't work like that here in Montreal. There's a cancer inside of this franchise. You could bring over... Okay, if you brought over a Sidney Crosby, hypothetically, that would help tremendously. But just bringing over a Matt Duchene or a Kyle Turris is not going to help this team right now. Go with the current core, but you gotta cut some loose ends. Bergevin, you know who you are. And then on Twitter, I had been talking to a Twitter account by the name of Evil Bergevin, and just saying, oh, well, like, oh, he's asked, why do you hate me so much? And I knew it was a parody account, of course. I mean, why would Bergevin name himself Evil Bergevin? And I just went off at him, jokingly, I think. I don't know, I get really heated about hockey things. Really, really, really easily. But, what are you going to do? Now, the trade's over and done with. Are we going to see another blockbuster trade this season? Possibly. I've wasted 25 minutes talking about it, so I hoped you liked that. Now, on to the Montreal Canadiens games. Montreal Canadiens since we last talked, Monday of last week when I recorded, I talked about the games prior, and now I'm going to talk about the games this past week. The Montreal Canadiens played on Monday, the 30th, just before Halloween. The Canadiens had faced the Senators. There were more Montreal Canadiens jerseys in the stands than Senators jerseys. At the time, Montreal was 4-7-1, and now we're 8. Oh, we're 6-8-1. We whooped the Ottawa Senators 8-3. Oh my god. Now, in the first period, Tom Pyatt scored his 21 seconds into the period. He scored, and then 4 minutes and 6 seconds later, Charles Hudon gets his first career NHL goal on the power play. He's got to frame this one, put it on his wall, make it his profile picture, make it the video he plays at his wedding, his funeral. He deked out the defenseman, deked the jock right out off of him. His jock is in section 3, row D, seat 5. Enjoy the jock. He deked out the defenseman, and he scored. Beautiful goal. Beautiful goal. First career NHL goal for him, and I'm happy to see that. He did get an assist. It wasn't his first career NHL point, but he had scored assist in the previous few seasons as he was called up in replacement of injured players and such. But it was very wholesome and nice to see one of our homegrown talents score the first career NHL goal. Homegrown talent, the Wolverine, Max Pacioretty, scored his 4th goal of the season shorthanded. Was it his 4th? Well, I guess it was his 4th. Apparently it was. This one looked like a shootout in the first period as Ottawa came back. Ryan Dzingel, that's an awesome hockey name. Dzingel, 4th NHL goal on the power play. So we had a power play goal, a shorthanded goal, a power play goal. Crazy. So it was a special teams night. And then Tari Lehkonen got his first of the season on a really nice shot. He scored his first of the NHL season. My lights just went off. Is that bad? I'm not joking. That might be, my internet's off, my lights was flashing. That would make a lot of sense. I'm currently sitting in pitch black, the darkness. I'm not turning off the podcast. I'm going to continue to record. I still have the pages up in my notes. Continue! Jonathan Drouin got an assist. This is kind of creepy. I'm just talking to a computer in the dark. I could be talking to no one for all I care. And then Charles Hudon got his 2nd career NHL goal. It was a shorthanded goal. Beauty goal. And then something Di Domenico on the power play got his 2nd NHL goal. Of course he did, assisted by Erik Karlsson. And then Alex Galchenyuk, the tiebreaker and the neutralizer. Tiebreaker? I mean, we were up 1. So never mind. Alex Galchenyuk got his 4th goal of the season, assist by Jamie Benn. Later, 2 minutes later, Brendan Gallagher got his 4th career NHL. Why? 4th career NHL goal, Owen? 4th season goal, sorry. I can't really think right now. I'm sitting. It's kind of scary. Like, just listen. You know what that is? It's quiet. All I can hear is the Walmart in my backyard because I live behind a Walmart. Oh, yes. Don't start barking, dog. You know, the dog that was barking a while ago. Whatever. And then in the third period, Thomas Plekanec's second goal of the season, not second career goal. Charles Hudon, third point of the night. Woo woo! And then Lehkonen gets his second goal on the evening, and that's an even 8-3. So, that was a fun game. Kept my morals high. Kept my self-esteem high. I'm like, well, the Montreal Canadiens just whooped the Ottawa Senators, but I would not be surprised if this was just a bloop in the road. I would not be surprised in the slightest. Now, then we played the Minnesota Wild, I believe, 2 days afterwards. Yes, I think. Whatever. The Minnesota Wild were playing Montreal in Minnesota, so I know Minnesota has been dying for some goals this season. They are currently in the bottom of their division. Let me just go to division. Division. In their division, they are at the bottom. They are 5-5-2. Not at the time, but they are now. They're even at home. So I knew going to this game, Devin Dubnyk was going to be the goalie, and we've always had problems against him. He used to be in our farm system as a goalie. Could you imagine? He was traded for like a third-round pick or something from Arizona to Minnesota. Oh, jeez. Oh my God. That was like one of the best trades in years. Then he went on a really hot streak. So, going into Minnesota, I would not be surprised if we lost because Minnesota always has our number. They always seem to have our number, I would say. And I was right. First few minutes we were down 2. Oh, right. My mom had just gotten home from work, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go say hi to her. The game was playing. I come back downstairs, and it's 2-0. I look at the TV. Oh, Minnesota's just scored 2-0. And I was only upstairs for 2 minutes, a minute 30 seconds. I was not up there very long. I talked to her, I went back down, didn't even hear anything, didn't even pull out my phone. I go downstairs, and I'm like, what? 2 goals in 10 seconds? What the? Lots of swear words. You can fill in the blanks. I'm so funny. Still dark. Lights haven't come on. Lights have not come on. I'm scared, guys. I'm not joking. This is not some ploy. It's very dark. I should have known because the lights have been flashing for an hour or so, 45 minutes, and then my internet's being stingy, and I'm like, oh, fun. It's been stingy for a while. I don't really know. I really don't want to go downstairs and ask, but I'm going to finish this freaking podcast. If it's the last thing I do, I hope it's not the last thing I do. I hope the last thing I do is eat, because I love food. Who doesn't love food? So, Minnesota game, I turned it off after the second period. We were losing bad. Third period, we scored a few goals. Something too late, you know? And then I'm like, yeah, I wasn't really shocked. What are you going to do? It's Montreal's luck. And people were like, oh, here is the biggest thing to come out of Montreal next to Lindgren. I'm going to get to that. Oh, he's so good. In the past week, I volunteer at a hockey arena, the Trenton Golden Hawks. Yes, I don't know. They're doing okay this year. They're about 500. I go to the games. I do tickets and such because I'm important. I'm important, apparently. I mean, they could replace me easily, but I love going. You know, I want to get my foot in the door for, you know, because it is a hockey business and I want to get my foot in the door. That's something I really enjoy. And I would love to do something in the hockey realm of anything, to be honest. Even though nobody believes in me and, it's just the same old, same old. So, the biggest thing to come out of Montreal in the past week. I go to the arena. I believe it was the Friday. Not this. Was it? I guess it was this past Friday. So I go there, I talk hockey with a few people, like, yeah, trade Price. I'm like, 4 people said trade Carey Price. And you don't know how heated that gets me. You can't say anything. You don't know. Okay, I won't say you can't say anything, but don't say something so ridiculously stupid like that. It's mind-numbingly stupid. Like, so stupid I almost said calories. I wish I would lose weight for listening to that stupid comment, but no. No, I lose brain cells, the important thing that makes your brain work. Right. You know that thing. Meh. No, but seriously. And then Nick Kiprio says, oh, going into a rebuild. Are we going into a rebuild? And if we go into a rebuild, is trading Carey Price the right thing? This has sparked discussion across all platforms of hockey. I'm sure if you're a hockey fan, a diehard hockey fan, you've talked about this at some point. And now I'm going to talk about it now, so enjoy. Now, this is a difficult topic. I love Carey Price. He's my favorite player on the Montreal Canadiens. Easily, bar none. Favorite player in the league. First player I ever got attached to would be Carey Price. I just love his technique and the personality he has and how dominant he was. How dominant he can still be. And it's sad hearing all these rumors, quote unquote, and all these things people saying. There is no loyalty. There is no loyalty anymore. No loyalty. And don't start getting up on me like, oh, what about your loyalty for Marc Bergevin? I have no loyalty. He hasn't proved to me that he can save us. Carey Price has proved to me many times, that he can save us. And I think Carey Price is the scapegoat this year. Marc Bergevin has found his scapegoat. If we are dead last in the NHL or we bottom 3, he will be the player scapegoat. Like last year was Michel Therrien, and the year before that it was PK Subban, so on and so forth. As I said last show, Marc Bergevin tends to find scapegoats. He gets rid of them and to make himself look like a good GM, like he's doing a fine, dandy old good job. He's not. He hasn't proved to anybody. And then I go and compliment the goalie core and some of the players we have on this team. And people say, oh, but he built that core. He built the goalie core. He built the defensive core, which is nothing to smile at. And he built all your favorite players on this team. He didn't build it well enough. He hasn't put the pieces together. We have a lot of great players, but it takes a good GM. You can be a bad GM and get some talent together. Just look at the Arizona Coyotes. You can get a lot of talent, but it doesn't make it fit. It's like one of those kid toys, square hole, round peg. You can't make it fit. And you have to get the square peg to make it fit. And a guy who only wants to use the circle peg and make it fit is not the guy. Do you get what I'm saying? Here, Marc Bergevin wants this to work. Well, he wants it to work. Wow, who doesn't want this team to work? All the players you've been attached to over the years, Pacioretty, Piqué, bye-bye, Galchenyuk, Galley, Price. You can't make it fit. Especially a GM who has never proved that he can make it fit. And it just doesn't fit. Sad to say that, but it's true. And I love most of the core. The Pacioretty, I almost said PK. That makes me sad. I love the Galchenyuk, even though he's ridiculed. I love Gallagher, even though I said he should be captain a few years ago when they wanted to find the captain. He's a gritty friggin' player. He had a very mediocre season last season. That doesn't really roll off the tongue well. But he's picking it up this year. He's playing to the standards he should be playing. A gritty guy who brings it to the net. Not a Chris Kreider, a Brendan Gallagher. Oh, don't even get me started. So, last week, there were trade rumors about sending Galchenyuk over to the New York Rangers for Chris Kreider. Has everybody forgotten that Chris Kreider was one of the reasons Montreal didn't make it to the Cup Finals a few years ago? Not saying Montreal would have made the Cup Finals if Price was the goalie in net. But that's comparison to trading a guy on the Vancouver Canucks, or I don't really know, for Todd Bertuzzi. Or I can't really name anything right now. I'm sorry if I offended anybody there. I can't really remember what happened. I knew he punched a guy in the head and kind of ended his career. That's like trading away an amazing player on your team with so much potential for a guy who ruined some of the greatest moments in your history, in your franchise. It was one of the most... Talk about mind-numbingly stupid. That was one of the stupidest things I have heard in a long time. If we trade for Chris Kreider, I'm turning off the TV, that's it. I will not support him in any way, shape, or form. No, I will not. And I hope that's just one of the, desperation what ifs. Chris Kreider isn't a very good player. He's a decent NHL player, but I'd still rather want Galchenyuk. More affordable. Better all-around player. Oh, but Chris Kreider has scored goals. Galchenyuk can score goals, but you have to put him on the first, second line to do that. No, of course. Of course, because Chris Kreider gets first, second line time in New York, and he might score more goals than Galchenyuk, but who has the more ice time? It's got to give guys opportunity. Opportunity. Speaking of opportunity, Charlie Lindgren, a Montreal Canadian, almost said ice cap. Hey, the light is back on! The light is back on! Holy moly, it's on! It's on! I wish you could see this. I wish you could see how happy I am right now. The light is back on. And lit up, Charlie Lindgren was not against the Chicago Blackhawks. Charlie Lindgren is one of those players that have been swept under the rug by media, by NHL fan bases. He comes up every year for the Montreal Canadiens with because Montreal players get injured. He's currently 4-0 in the NHL, 3-0 before he played the Chicago Blackhawks game. Nobody ever speaks about him. We speak about Michael McNiven and Zachary Fucale first. Just because Lindgren is older does not mean he is, shadow of doubt, one of our better goalie prospects. I would say I don't even know how to rate our goalie system. Bergevin put it together. Don't care. Can't put the pieces together. Charlie Lindgren is an amazing goaltender. And now people are talking about him. I hope he just doesn't fade in the background this time. Go back to Laval. I think he is making his case to be backup for Price this year. Now I'm seeing, he's better than Price. He might be better than Price at this moment. But look what the team did for him last night. They played really solidly defensively. And they got clutch goals. Yes, but he did make some saves that were tremendous. He might be better than Carey Price in this very, very, very moment. But all around, who would you pick in a Stanley Cup Finals Game 7? Right? Who would you pick? Exactly. The difference between Charlie Lindgren and Carey Price, not experience or not potential, is Carey Price is all about the technique and all about forgetting what had happened on previous plays. Like, if it's 3-2, he forgets about it. He's just playing at an even game. Not that his team is up, that he is trying to hold down the fort. Give his team chances. Lindgren? Charlie Lindy. That's his name. That's his nickname, I guess. It works. Isn't that Lindy Ruff's nickname? It's weird. I don't know. Whatever. Uh, Charlie Lindgren is more about the athletic and physical side of the goaltending. He will make those athletic saves. Carey Price will too, but he isn't all about technique. He's about making sure at all costs stopping the puck. He might be out of position sometimes, but dang, he stops that puck real well. And in the 4 NHL games, he's got an under 2 goals against, a really, really, very amazingly decent, so good save percentage. I don't have his hockey DB pulled up at the moment, but he's an amazing goaltender. I think he's going to get the next start tomorrow against the Vegas Golden Knights. Almost said Las Vegas. No money into the Las Vegas Golden Knights, sure. But I hope he does contend for backup once Price comes back. Maybe take off the blow or take off the attention from Price. There will always be attention on Price. But with a guy like Lindgren, he can really shut it down. He can shut down the media, shut them up, because he's undefeated in the NHL. Oh, wow. Wouldn't you love to have that? Have that for maybe just a week in the NHL. You are an undefeated goaltender in the NHL. How many players can say that today? 0 maybe? 3? Lindgren is one of those players. and I'm happy to have him in this franchise. Did he go undrafted? He Montreal has this thing with getting amazing goaltenders. McKibben, Fucali, Lindgren. Did I say Lindgren? McNiven, Price, Montoya out of nowhere. But very, very good, solid, quality goalies. Now I'm going to move things along because I've talked about Montreal for long enough, and I'm sure you want to hear about other things in the hockey news. So, last week I was reading on Twitter. I know the Derp Report mentioned that this statement in their podcast, and hey, I'm a fan of their podcast. No, hashtag non-spawn. Not like they're paying me to say this. If you enjoy hockey, because I don't know why you're listening to this if you don't enjoy hockey. If you join in the Toronto Maple Leafs, San Jose Sharks, Vancouver Canucks, go over to their podcast. I will link it. I will link their SoundCloud in the description below. They've supported me as well. And if you're listening right now, the Derp Report or the Yukon Leafs fan, both their Twitter handles, go support them. I love their podcast. It's a podcast made for fans by fans about hockey. Love it. And they crack open a cold one with the boys. So, Tyler Seguin, the partier, you may have him in your hockey pool. And I did say something on Twitter afterwards. I will say this after I say his statement. So, on Twitter, it says, here's just a statement. When it comes to the I'm going to restart that. When it comes to language off the ice and in the dressing room, the norms become trickier. Guys always talk in different languages, Dallas Stars center Tyler Seguin says. Sometimes you just put your foot down. We're in North America. We're not going to have a team of cliques. Oh, no. Tyler. Oh, God. Oh. This is the worst thing to say. You're making your team a stereotype. You are literally turning into a stereotypical, almost racist. You're an amazing player. I did say that player-wise, I'd pick you first. But this does not say anything good about your character. It's not good. Now, defenseman from the New York Rangers, Kevin Shattenkirk, is okay with teammates speaking in their native tongue depending on the situation. Quote, you have to respect the fact that a lot of the times it's just easier for them to communicate that way, Shattenkirk says. But it also goes outside the rink. You'll see them going to dinner together on the road. There's a comfortable. I can't say that. This is one of the words. Comfortability factor. Being able to speak their languages gives them a sense of home. You can't take it as them not wanting to hang out with you. He makes a lot of great points. Now, the Derp Report, go listen to them, made a very good point in their previous show. How, let's say Tyler Seguin goes over and plays for China. And all the other players are Chinese except one. You bring over your best bud, Mr. Jamie Benn. So what language are you going to speak with them in? Not Chinese, because that's disrespectful to Chinese players. You're going to speak in your native tongue. Goes for guys on the Dallas Stars who want to speak in their language, like Swedes, Finnish players, Russian players. I almost said Canadian players, but I mean French, I guess. It's about comfort, the comfort level. And if you went to China, would you really want to talk in Chinese to Jamie Benn? And I'm sure Jamie Benn would be like, oh, but I don't know a lot of Chinese, so I'm going to talk to you in my native tongue because that would be easier and it's comfortable. Now, in high pressure situations, Kevin Shattenkirk is right. Say it's a game 7 and you really want to hype them up, and you wouldn't be speaking in Swedish, you'd be speaking in English, because to play in the NHL you have to understand at least some English, right? It's just a North American way of life. Man, that does not say anything. It says something about both of their character. One good, one very not so good. Now, I did say on Twitter, I hope I didn't disrespect anyone. I worded it tricky. I said, player-wise, I would pick Sagan still. I'm not saying personality-wise, like in the slightest. I'm meaning, like talent-wise, I probably should have said talent. Talent-wise, I would pick Sagan, bar none. But that doesn't say anything about personality. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about personality. I would pick him in my hockey pool. I didn't. My hockey pool is really not doing well right now. Let's see. I have 4 injured players. I picked Nolan Patrick because in the late rounds because I felt like it. I don't know why there weren't a lot of players on the board, and I felt like it. So, Vadim Shipachyov. Uh, so right after my last podcast came out, uh, the Shipachyov saga, they said that Vegas will be letting go of him. That's what came from uh, Friedman on Twitter. And I'm like, so literally what I dedicated most of my podcast to last episode, like I'm pretty sure this came out right after I uploaded everything. Like I'm pretty sure the morning after. And now I threw that all away. It was a really main topic of the episode. Hey, this is episode 11. Congrats, everyone! I made it! This would be the 10th Monday. Wow! 10 weeks? It's really good, Owen. Congrats, Owen. Good for you, Owen. I knew you could do it, Owen. Whatever, Owen. Where was I? I was talking about my hockey pool and... Hockey pool, who else is... And now Vegas and the NHLPA, Player Association, they want to make sure it isn't going to come back to bite them like the Ilya Kovalchuk. They want to make sure he retires, like as in the I retire from the NHL and I'm going to play hockey in the KHL so I can make my money back. And the $2 million signing bonus for Vadim Shipachyov, Vegas wants back. And he's like, I'll give it back. I just want to go play hockey in the KHL. And I really haven't heard anything other than that in a few days. I don't know if it's over and finished with, but I'm sure something will come about in the few coming days. I hope to know soon. Now let's talk about, I've dedicated the other part of the episode, the first hour. I don't think I'm going to do 2 hours, but the first hour I dedicated to the Montreal Canadiens and the big blockbuster trade. You know the trade. Just go back and listen. I don't know how you got it this far without knowing the... Whatever, just listen. So, let me talk about the NHL, the segment where I talk about things happening in the NHL. Now, let's start with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't know why I put so much emphasis on Toronto Maple Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs have 16 points. They play tonight against the Vegas Golden Knights. Montreal plays them tomorrow. Wow, beat them up, Toronto. Beat them up until they turn into a bloody pulp. Toronto has been on a skid recently. They've been losing games mightily heavy. Like losing by a decent margin. Decent being like 3-4 goals. And that's not good. Now, they're good at scoring, and the other night they lost 6-4 against the LA Kings. Yes, we know Montreal knows all about losing to the LA Kings. We like losing to Western Conference teams, but it happens. And they've been on a slid. Slid? I want to slap myself around for saying that. They've been on a slid. They've been sliding down. Now right behind the Ottawa Senators in the Atlantic Division, and then Ottawa behind Tampa Bay by 7 points. Tampa Bay with 24. They are unreal, 11-2-2. Ottawa 6-3-5, so they've lost technically 8 games and won 6. They lost a lot of games in overtime and shootout in October. That's got to be close to a record. I'm pretty sure the record is 6-7. Ugh. But at least you got points out of it, because you'd be in the bottom of the division. You'd be right behind the Montreal Canadiens. Oh, wow. Funny. So, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Austin Matthews is a game-time decision for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Soreness, Mike Babcock says. And Mike Babcock has been getting a lot of hate for his decisions. And a lot of that hate is, or does, make sense. He doesn't put Joshua Lievo, I don't really know how to pronounce it yet. I'm just putting a lot of emphasis into Lievo. He doesn't put him into the lineup, but instead you put Kasperi Kapanen. Kasperi Kapanen's an amazing player in his own right, but Joshua Lievo is so good. He says you need to be fast and you need to be good on the special teams. Joshua Lievo is fast and he can be good on the power play. So that's a weakness there. Mike Babcock has to stop playing with his toys and do what's right for the team. Is this another... What's his name? What was his name? Free Frankie Corrado. Free Frankie Corrado. That was the tweet last year. Free Frankie. Is this another one of those situations where Babcock just straight up does not like the player? Is that similar to the Peter Holland? That's a tendency for Mike Babcock. I don't really remember that in Detroit, where he singles out players and he just doesn't want them in the lineup. But this is his chance to put him in if Matthews doesn't play. It's game time decision. I'm pretty sure they start soon. It's currently 6:50 and I'm going to be done recording soon. Yay. I'm going to go eat some food or do something. Probably play some NHL 18 because I don't really want to watch hockey tonight. There's been a lot of hockey lately. Just gotta chill. Gotta be happy. I'm still happy about the Lindgren thing. So let me be happy until I get sad again. So Ron Hainsey's one of the best 5-on-5 defensemen in the league, point-wise. Pretty sure he has around 9 assists this season. I'm gonna check it out. Ron Hainsey. Ron Hainsey. Ron Hainsey. This season, he has 9 assists. That's almost on pace for what he had in the entire season last season. Oh, Whoa! It's dusty in here. I just sneezed. Make a wish. I have the weirdest sneezes. So, back on track. I think I lost some brain cells. Oh my god. Help. So, Ron Hainsey had a total of 17 points last season, and he's on pace to break that, and he's played 15 games. It's pretty good. It's good for him. So that's one of their bright spots on defense. Everybody was like, ugh, he's not very good. He's meh, he's Ron Hainsey, he's old. Hey, just because he's old, like I've said in plenty of podcasts, veterans add something. They sometimes shock you. And now, surprisingly for some Leaf fans, the whole Patrick Marleau being absolutely phenomenal with the wheels of a friggin' Ferrari on ice. He surprised a lot of Leaf fans, especially over Twitter. I've heard a lot of things where people are really surprised. He has 100-game winners, and 3 of them are with the Toronto Maple Leafs. 100. Behind him is Ovechkin. Number 1 is Jaromir Jagr with game-winning goals in the NHL. Gretzky, surprisingly not in there. Not really surprising because he probably assisted on a lot of game-winning goals because it's Wayne Gretzky. He just piled on a lot of assists, even though he was a goal guy. Even though he was an assist guy. Was he a playmaker and a sniper? I mean, he does have more assists than the next person in scoring has points. So, the Leafs' older players really coming to town and free agent acquisitions that are playing really well. Let me check what Patrick Marleau has done this season. Marleau. I can't really spell today. Patrick Marleau. He is 38. Well, I'm pretty sure he's the 4th oldest player in the NHL right now. Currently has 9 points in 15 games this season. 5 goals, 4 assists. Wow. Jeez, he's good. For a 38-year-old, people shart all over Jagr. I've never seen anybody shart over Patrick Marleau. Oh yeah, but what about when they lost reverse sweep against the LA Kings? Well, of course, that was deserved. They did get reverse sweep by the LA Kings in the first round. That's gotta suck. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, San Jose fans. Nah, what are you gonna do about it? So, no more Leafs. I don't want to talk about them anymore and how spoiled they are. They can be at 500 tonight, but this is one of those games against the Vegas Golden Knights where they need to beat them 8-1. It's a very important character game. This will show if they really have it. Because you gotta beat the mediocre teams too on paper. You gotta beat those hot and cold teams. You gotta beat everybody if you really want to be the best. If you want to be the best, you gotta beat the best and the worst. Ric Flair. I don't think that's the total quote by Ric Flair. Now, moving on to other Canadian hockey teams. This will come to a shock. The Vancouver Canucks. Last game, Brock Besser? Any Vancouver Canuck fans out there want to clarify that for me? I'm sorry. The Vancouver Canucks, Brock Besser? I'm sorry. Brock the Beast had 4 points, 3 goals and 1 assist against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Wow. He is already good. Why didn't I pick him up in my fantasy pool? Why didn't I pick him up? Such an easy pickup when he's like one of the top scorers in rookie racing. As I throw my computer around. Vancouver has 16 points, 7-4-2, tied with the San Jose Sharks. And right behind the Vegas Golden Knights. And who would have thunk it? I guess Vancouver Canucks fans would be happy either way. Make or contend for a wild card spot, even though it's early in the season. Contend for a wild card spot, or be last in the division or last in the league. None of those would make you sad because you're a Vancouver Canucks fans. You want to see the Sedins do well, but you want to get players. They got a lot of trading assets, so never really know with the Vancouver Canucks. Speaking of surprises, the New Jersey Devils are 9-3-1. I know, right? Looking in the Metropolitan Division, really weird right now. From the bottom up, Carolina 11 points, New York 14, Washington 15, Philadelphia 16, New York Islanders 17, Pittsburgh 18, Columbus 19, New Jersey 19. Surprising, not really surprising. Columbus has played one more game and they're currently tied with New Jersey with 19 points. So first in the division is New Jersey. As I said at the beginning of the season, when they were about 5 games in and New Jersey was doing incredible as they continue to do that, they don't slide off like the Avalanche or, all those other teams in the top 5 that were doing incredible. Vegas will fall off at one point, like I said. I can guarantee it. I bet everybody $5 who listens to this that they will miss the playoffs. That's a lot of money, though, if there's people that listen to it. So I'm hoping nobody listens to this. That's weird. That's really contradicting my whole I'm a narcissist thing. But New Jersey, like I said, those were one of the teams that I thought that came out of nowhere, like the Leafs last year, that nobody expected to stay on top. And they are on top of the world right now. I'm happy for the New Jersey Devils fans. They aren't playing the trap anymore. They're playing actually exciting hockey with Nico Hischier, Will Butcher, Jesper Bratt, and your goalie. Oh my god, he's really good. Corey Schneider's very good at hockey. A team that should be very good at hockey, the Edmonton Oilers. Oh, the Pacific Division. Oh, how weird the Pacific Division is. So, the Pacific Division, Los Angeles has 22 points. They are on fire! The Vegas Golden Knights, 18. San Jose, 16. Vancouver, 16. Calgary, 16. Three-way tie for third place. I can't count. And I'm 14. Edmonton, 9 points. 4 points ahead of the 2-12-1 Arizona Coyotes. Oh my god. They should be better than this. Right? Everybody expected them to be contending for presidents, at least making the playoffs. Everybody predicted Edmonton-Pittsburgh final. It's still possible, but Edmonton has really got to pick it up. It only takes a 4-game win streak to get back to 500, and Edmonton can go on streaks. They are one of those teams in the past that have shown to be streaky. But I mean a decade ago. But they should be better than this with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl back. Their lines are really weird. And people say Milan Lucic's contract is untradeable. Let's just look at the past. Dion Phaneuf traded $7 million. Clarkson traded to the Columbus Blue Jackets. $7+ million? Ugh. One of the worst contracts in NHL history. I think it is like number 1 rated worst contract in NHL history. Pretty bad. You can trade Milan Lucic. Jeez. A team would take him in a heartbeat. A lot of teams would take him in a heartbeat. And Edmonton, they have a -13 differential in goals. 10 in front of the Arizona Coyotes. Arizona has 23 minus differential. That's really bad. So I do expect Edmonton to do better than they are right now. Now, a team that everybody expected to be doing better than they are right now, the Washington Capitals. They are currently have won 7 games and lost 6, 1 in OT, with 15 points. They are usually stronghold. They are usually the friggin' Fortress of Solitude at home, but they're currently 2-3 and 5-3-1 away. Wait, I don't know NHL. What is this? I guess I didn't think they. Sorry, I still really think it's early into the NHL season, but apparently they're not doing so great at home. Now, their last game, they beat Boston. And then the next game, they play Arizona. So that should be a very good game for Character and Ovechkin getting 7 goals in a game. When was the last time that happened? Oh, Ovechkin can do it. If there's a player that can do it, it's Ovechkin. I said at the beginning of the season, I didn't think Washington would be as good as they were last year and the year before that, but especially last year. They have a lot of rookies coming in, like Verana, and Madison Bowie. I think he's playing on the roster right now, but I didn't think they were as deep as they were in the previous years. You know, Brett Connolly, Lars Eller, and losing Shattenkirk really hurts. And Johannesson. But I do expect them to hang around the top 3 in the division with Metropolitan is still scary for the teams in it, like who you're going to compete with. Philadelphia, which they're going to be really good very soon. They have 16 points as well. I think they have 16 points. I don't really know. Do they have 16? They have 16 points. Washington has 15. Now, there was a question posed I saw on Twitter. What is the best division in hockey right now? As of right now, what is the closest best division in the NHL? I would have to say it would be, drumroll please, the Central Division in the West. That was the division coming into this season everybody thought was the weakest. Right now it looks like the strongest or closest in between teams. Now, Chicago, Nashville, Colorado, and Dallas are all tied for 3rd place in the division. That's crazy. St. Louis has 23 points in 15 games. Crazy. Oh my God, that's really good. And Winnipeg doing great. I love to see a Canadian team do well, except the Ottawa Senators, except the Toronto Maple Leafs. But other than, the Canadian teams like Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Vancouver, it's nice to see that. Especially the West. Screw the East. And then Dallas, surprisingly, not doing as bad as I thought they really were. 8-6, Colorado 8-6. They're definitely going to plummet into the Earth's crust soon. And then Nashville 7-5-2, and then the Chicago Blackhawks 7-6-2. Chicago playing the most out of them. I thought Chicago was doing better than that, but hey, Montreal picking up that shutout against them. But from the best team to the worst team in the division, it is only 11 total points. Now going to a division like the Atlantic, it is 14 points from 10 to 24. And then, 22 to 5. Wow. So I think it's the best division in the league. I can't remember who posed that question on Twitter. But as I move myself and the computer, sorry, I'm stretching out. So, to leave on a positive note, there's been this thing going around in the NHL, the best moment in hockey. I want to also leave this and pose this as a question to all the people listening. I don't care if there's anybody listening because I love listening to my voice. What is the best moment in the NHL? The best moment in history? The best goal, the best moment from Ray Bourque winning his first and only Stanley Cup, to Gretzky breaking the all-time point record, to Gretzky beating 50 in 30, to Bobby Orr's famous flying goal against the St. Louis Blues in overtime to capture the Stanley Cup, to Mario Lemieux's beautiful backhand diving goal against the Minnesota North Stars in the Stanley Cup Finals, 1991? 91. And then it was Chicago the next year after that. I think so. But what do I personally think is the best moment in NHL history? What is the most recognizable? There's a difference. What is when an outsider or I wouldn't say outsider, or a casual NHL fan, what comes to mind first? What is the most historical or the face of the greatest moments in NHL history? I think it's the most iconic goal, playoff goal, the most stress-inducing words or word in hockey or in sports, overtime, to clinch two of the best words in hockey, the Stanley Cup. I think it's Bobby Orr's diving goal against the St. Louis Blues. That's the first one that comes up, always, I believe. And trust me, this is only opinion. This is only opinion. I think Ray Bourque's is up there. I think all the Gretzky's milestones. There are a lot in there. Brett Hull's 50th goal in a season. There's a lot, but I think it's Bobby Orr's. Hey, and if you think differently, go to my Twitter and at Real Beaty Man. I'm thinking of rebranding to just 3 thumbs up. I like it. I like it. Do you like my logo? It's this new logo I designed for the podcast. Did it in marketing class, and my teacher was like, "That's really nice. I like it. Kind of looks like the Subway logo, but I like it anyways." So, if you have any questions, go to my Twitter, and if you have any other questions, go to my Facebook. You can message me on my Facebook fan page. 3 thumbs up podcast. Go over there. I give all the links to my podcast there, all announcements and such over there. And you're listening to this on YouTube, I think, waiting to put this on SoundCloud again because I still don't have any money. If you want to go fund me. So it's $6 a month for the pro. start a GoFundMe for me. No, leave a like, leave a comment. I love all the support. I will definitely answer back any questions you ever have. If you want to leave it on my Twitter, I will answer everything on my podcast. And if you have any thoughts about what I talked about today, leave your opinions in the comments below. I respect opinions, but I know my opinions are the right ones. I'm joking. Stop getting offended over there. Thank you for listening. I don't care if anybody listened because I love listening to my voice. If you made it this far, what are you doing with your life? You listened to a hockey podcast for an hour and 24 minutes. Jeez. I hope you have a wonderful day. Wonderful rest of your day. I will see you next Monday. Bye-bye.